Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review of Blue Exorcist Season 3 that I watched on Toonami. My main issue kind of with Blue Exorcist is how long it takes to get certain kind of seasons. Now, they have kind of sped that up because Season 4 actually came out decently around this time with Season 3, so we'll see how that kind of goes. They are doing the next one on Toonami, so looking forward to that. Because I was almost like, what did I fucking, what is kind of going on here? So we pretty much get dropped back in with our exorcists. We see that Rin pretty much gets hooked up with this dude who sees demons and everything, and pretty much decides to pump Mephisto to try and get these eye drops to help the kid out. We see that Mephisto actually reveals that he is Samael, one of the top kind of demons. Saying that he's not an enemy and that he wants to help humanity, since it kind of is a fascinating kind of thing to see. Rin's execution was also stayed by the Vatican. That's pretty much why Mephisto kind of invited him to a kind of dinner kind of soiree kind of thing. And then the ex-squires are told to pretty much fight. Well, he has to first do this kind of thing to get the eye drops. They've got to fight this kind of shape-shifting demon, where we see pretty much our group try and interact and see what's kind of going on with how they try and deal with this thing, and seeing them kind of shift their kind of responsibilities of who does what was actually kind of interesting to see. Seeing was Kanemaru? Okay, this thing just pretty much... And then I'll back out. Okay, where are the cast of characters, you son of a bitch? There we go, list of characters. Enzoshima. Konakomaru. That's it. But that was kind of cool to see him kind of come up and kind of get everybody acclimated to what was kind of going on. And taking out these kind of demons. We also get them having to deal with one in the girls' bathroom. That's of course where Izumo and Shiemi pretty much deal with that one, linking kind of up. Izumo is pretty much the kind of focus of this season because she gets kidnapped later on, but we learned that she has a very fractured kind of relationship with her mother, who has a very fucked up history, where she had Izumo and Tsukumo, a little sister to Izumo, and that they were pretty much shrine maidens. She's pretty much dealing with this kind of box demon and having it sealed away, but yet she was also pretty much with this kind of head dude. However, it's more of an illegitimate kind of affair thing, and he treated her so kind of horribly that she pretty much got into kind of a despair kind of mode, got possessed by the demon, killed his ass, and then got pretty much taken away by the Illuminati to be experimented on by this Dr. Gedoween. And the Illuminati is headed by Lucifer, one of the other kind of children of Satan, and his objectives are to pretty much fuse the worlds together and get rid of all suffering and get rid of the distinction between humans and demons. It's okay, let's kind of see how that kind of works out. However, he is very kind of sickly. He's got a lot of power, but we see him kind of coming up at the point where we see that Shima is at one point seems like working for the Illuminati, kidnapping Izumo because they need another vessel for the Fox Demon to continue their kind of research. But we see that he's also working for True Cross, and that it's pretty much just him being kind of a spy, which goes into this whole kind of thing of trust. Rin, of course, is trying to go and rescue both of them as they go into the place and this town kind of scenario where the Illuminati are pretty much drugging people and then utilizing them as experiments, though Lucifer says that it's supposed to be humane. Gedoween doesn't give a shit and is a piece of shit. And it's just fucking people over, turning them into pretty much zombies, and doesn't care if they feel pain or not. Lucifer, of course, does not like that, and pretty much dusts his ass at the end of the season after he's pretty much turned himself into what he believes is a superior being of being a demon, when he kind of gets possessed by certain kind of shit. And he tries to utilize this device to get Izumo to get possessed by the fox demon, and it kind of succeeds, but then her mother has enough kind of fortitude to get the demon back into her, and then dies. And it kind of sucks because she wasn't the best kind of parent, but at the end, when it counted most, she did. And it really kind of sucks because Rin is attempting to do his best to not kill people and go nutty because these people were transformed into zombies. There's got to be some way to exorcise them or whatnot. Like, good on you, Rin, for attempting to do that. Yukio has no compunctions about that and is trying to deal with being the offspring of Satan and trying to figure out powers to try and be stronger or whatnot. Lucifer kind of playing in on that kind of effect, saying that, like, oh, you can be saved and all that kind of stuff, because Shima pretty much gives that kind of message that, like, that offer is still on the table at the end, as Mephisto and Lightning, one of the kind of like bigwigs at the True Cross, well, with the kind of like the Order, is like, yeah, let's gonna see what goes on here. And we see that Light Lewin, yeah. And we also see that they're making their own Gehenna gates, the Illuminati. Things are kind of going nutty, and Lewin is trying to figure out what's kind of going on, trying to figure out if Shima's to be trusted after we get like the crazy-ass fights kind of going on in the Illuminati's headquarters. Well, their headquarter branch for Getawin's kind of experimentation. I mean, this is only like 12 episodes, but it felt really impactful. I really liked Izumo's character development, understanding why she doesn't really trust anybody, why she attempts to do everything on her own, but yet Ren being like, fuck that noise, because she didn't think that anybody would probably come for her, but then him and the rest of them do, and she still doesn't understand that, because when you've been screwed over as much as her, I understand her taking that kind of stance. It's like, I'm not going to trust anybody ever again. I trusted these people to a certain kind of extent, and Shima kidnapped me, killed my familiars, even though at the end he really didn't kill them. He's walking a very fine, dangerous line of being the spy kind of thing, and I think he starts understanding towards the end that this is going to probably fuck him over to the point where he will always be alone, and there will be a kind of break point where he will probably lose his shit. And if that is the kind of route that he takes, it's like, you really don't want to be a spy, man. It's not a good way to live, and the way he's trying to dance this thing, it's going to be a very dangerous needle threading kind of thing for him. So we'll see how that kind of works out. I'm like, okay, cool, interesting. Yukio is really getting kind of amped up with that, his kind of perceived weakness and what he can and can't do, seeing that he does have that, like, what goes on with his eyes. So it's like, all right, what are your powers? What do they kind of do? That seems to be the next kind of focus for the next kind of season, is that's kind of what it kind of looks like when I was seeing the kind of previews and whatnot. List of episodes. Let me see if I'm... No... No. Fucking 6 years between one, 7 between another. Yeah, and Yukio also had to do pretty much this kind of blood contract so that he doesn't leak any kind of information. So it's like, okay, we'll see how that kind of works out. Yeah. Izumo does get reunited with her sister, who's been pretty much placed with a nice family, because when she was trying to escape the first time when her and her sister were captured, this woman pretty much tried to help them, pretty much helped the sister escape and pretty much get put into an adopted family, but then she gets captured, and Izumo gets captured, and she tried to beg for her life, but then was still killed by Getawin anyway. So it's just another kind of notch on Izumo for not trusting people. Let me see. And Lucifer also told Getaween to not fuck with Rin and Yukio, and Getaween like, fuck that shit. Okay, the immortality elixir. Yeah. And Yukio has not told anybody else that he had like a one-on-one with Lucifer, so that's kind of like, oh shit. And we see that Tsukumo kind of remembers Izumo, but not really. I mean, she was very little, now she's a lot older, but Izumo just kind of like goes off and is just like thankful that she's alive. Let's see here. And then we get a cool little spa thing with like 3 wise monkeys kind of shit kind of going on. Shima actually telling the kind of truth of like trying to look at ladies and Rin being like, what the fuck? And of course they start fighting and then destroying a kind of slide, and then pretty much sure going to like take their asses out for destroying the slide. Yukio, of course, then kind of getting everything kind of put together with the damages. And Ren being pretty much figuring out that Yukio is hiding something. And it's like, yeah, you can talk to me if you need anything. And then Yukio just completely hiding. I do like that the whole thing, like the central, like a central kind of core theme is like trust and communication. And most of the bad shit kind of goes down when you don't have that kind of trust for people that you're able to have. Like, Rin and the rest have shown that, like, they are trustworthy. Does that mean they always come through? No, but having someone trustworthy helps out, and communicating that really helps out as well. It's a basic kind of thing that's, like, a problem for, like, a lot of things kind of going on, but I like that it's a big thing because Tsukumo's kind of not Tsukumo. Well, Izumo's kind of going through that, and Yukio, it's going to blow up in his face. So, we'll kind of have to see what goes on with that. So, I actually really like this season. I think it did a good job also showcasing off the kind of crazy shit kind of going on with the zombies, with them kind of transmorphing and going kind of nutty on certain kind of instances, and showcasing off of like supernatural powers, like one dude fucking firing off goddamn rockets and shit. Izumo's use of her kind of familiars and everything like that worked out pretty well. There weren't any kind of like weird ass kind of shits. It's like, no, this just really kind of like takes me out. Like, no, it's cool kind of characters, digging into like the character development and trying to see what kind of goes on with these kind of situations. Now, I am glad that they have sped up what's kind of going on. It's really kind of weird that there's so big of a time gaps between like season 1 and season 2, and then season 2 and season 3, and then they're able to shorten them up, because I really think that this is a good enough series that a lot of people would be kind of good with it. I mean, sure, there's a lot of breadth of like anime and stuff, but I mean, yeah, it deals with interesting supernatural elements and really ties that effectively into their characters' stories and executes it very well. So those are my opinions on this season. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.